folks, Rebecca back for episode 58 of the Quintuple M, the Monday Mr. Money Mustache Motivation. Today's episode is coming from his blog post from October 22nd, 2011. This one is titled, What is Hedonic Adaptation and How Can It Turn You into a Sucker? So, let's hop right into this one. As always, I will put the link to this blog post in the description box below. Click on it, go check out Mr. Money Mustache's website and read some articles of your own choosing. In writing this blog for you, Mr. Money Mustache actually has three major goals: to make you rich so you can retire early, to make you happy so you can properly enjoy your early retirement, and to save the whole human race from destroying itself through overconsumption of its own habitat. It's a lofty goal for number 3. All of these goals are in perfect alignment, and they mix and mingle in different ways depending on which aspect of mustachianism we are discussing at any given time. Today we'll be focusing in on number 2, what actually makes us happy. Now, everybody knows that I like to promote a relatively frugal lifestyle. Critics of my approach have said things like this: you can't take your money with you when you die, buddy. How'd you like to die tomorrow after scrimping and saving your whole life, never having spent your money? I happen to like driving around in a nice car. There's no way I'm going to bike to work all week and work hard every day just so I can drive around in a $5,000 shitbox on the weekends. I like to buy myself something nice a few times a year. What's the harm as long as I'm staying within my budget? In fact, even the relatively frugal financial blogger I call Mortgage Free Mike once wrote this comment on an earlier Triple M article: "You have a really great and unique attitude about money. I'm not sure if I can regularly deny myself purchases, but at the same time tell myself that it's a win, but it's worth a shot." All of these statements would have sounded perfectly rational to me when I was just a little younger. In fact, the one breakthrough that flipped my thinking on the matter was learning about the scientific studies that have been done on hedonic adaptation. In less fancy terms, what this term means is that no matter what happens to you in your life, you'll very quickly get used to it. Hedonic adaptation is a feature built right into your human DNA that allows you to function efficiently as a wide variety of environments, even very harsh ones. A most striking example of this was a 1978 psychological study that evaluated the happiness levels of recent lottery winners and recently injured paraplegics relative to the general population. As you'd expect, the lottery winners were pretty upbeat immediately after their win, and the paraplegics were pretty pissed off. But within just 2 months, both groups had returned back to the average level of happiness. That's impossible, I thought. How could this be? Well, it turns out that when a person jumps to a new level of material convenience, he loses the ability to enjoy the things he previously thought were pretty neat. A cold Bud Light was once a true delight after a work day for the lottery winner, but after the win, he quits the job and takes up high-end scotch poured by a personal butler. Both serve the same purpose, and the pleasure is about the same. Similarly, when moving down the hedonic scale, either voluntarily or involuntarily, we can learn to appreciate simpler things with just as much gusto as we would have appreciated more expensive things. I truly love the sound of the wheels of my bike slicing through the quiet wind on an open road, just as much as I enjoyed the whirring sound of the gear-driven camshafts and the rich tuned exhaust note of my old VFR 800 motorcycle. This happiness averaging also explains why we, the people of the most materially abundant country in the world, the United States, where the gas is the cheapest and our cars are the fanciest and the houses are the biggest, are actually quite far below other less wealthy countries in the world when we evaluate our own happiness. Depending on the survey, you'll see countries like Denmark, Switzerland, Austria, Canada, Bhutan, Mexico, Cuba, and others kicking our ass, and the US rarely ranks above number 17 on the list. I also think that the amount of work that we do as Americans probably factors into that happiness level quite a bunch. It is intuitively hard to believe these things at first when you've been raised as a consumer. My cravings for the crisply carved seats and the slickety smooth gear shift of a Mini Cooper S felt very real. Just as Mrs. Money Mustache cravings for the artistic perfection and self-confidence boost offered by the latest names in athletic fashion felt very real. In fact, the cravings are real, and the adrenaline rush of buying these new things is real as well. They really do make you happy for a very short time. The key for me is not denying the existence of the craving or the short-term rush. It's zooming out and reminding myself, dude, the scientists have already figured this out for you. You can buy the Cooper and get a short-term rush, or you can put that same energy and money into doing something that creates far more lasting happiness. And that's the golden nugget for you. You only have a limited lifespan, and you've got a real chance to go get yourself some lasting happiness. Are you going to spend that time chasing the scientifically proven to be ineffective short adrenaline rushes that you get from buying yourself some more shit? Or would you prefer to actually experience several golden decades of deluxe life that are so good that you look back and laugh at them even when you are a skeleton? Luckily, the wise scientists and psychologists who came before us have already done the work, and we know in a general sense what is most likely to make a person happy. And when it comes down to a battle between my own emotion-biased intuition and real scientific research, I'm going to side with the scientists every time, because I always bet on the side where the odds are in my favor. In no particular order, the biggest factors influencing human happiness include meaningful work with lots of autonomy, low stress, and low fear of losing your job, private life, community, health, freedom, and a philosophy of life. Pretty simple, isn't it? And you'll note that the way of the Money Mustache addresses all of these areas. Because work is such an important part of human happiness, as a mustachian, you will work as quickly as possible to take the money component out of it so that you can have the option of deciding like a real adult what kind of work you want to do each day. To achieve this, you will lower your expenses and put the incredibly high level of savings that result directly to work for you. And in the process, you won't suffer at all because all you're giving up is a little bit of the hedonic adaptation crack cocaine. By gaining financial independence, you will naturally turn more to helping others, bonding with your own family and friends and community, and you'll have the extra time and reduced stress levels, allowing you to take better care of your health. Freedom goes without saying. Here in the rich world, the only widespread form of slavery is the economic type. Debt and addiction to high consumption are a very real form of slavery, and gaining freedom from it is a genuine contributor to real happiness. People who are already financially independent might now step in and say, aha, but if I've already got the freedom and the health, then am I allowed to go out and buy myself a whole bunch of fancy shit? The question becomes more complicated. I've pretty much been cured from the desire for a lifestyle any more luxurious than the one I already have, and I'm actually hoping to step it down gradually over time. The obvious reason to reject things like a fancier car or house is that they use up more of the planet's natural resources that could be used to help someone else instead. On the other hand, buying more expensive services and experiences in your own community might end up supporting younger and less wealthy people, students, actors, musicians, artists, which might do a bit of good to society and share your wealth. I like the idea of starting businesses that employ a wide variety of people and treat them unusually well, or creating funding incentives for school and students in such a way that they up their game significantly. It's a tricky problem deciding what is the most efficient use for extra money, but I'll leave it to you to think it over when you get there. So when you hear people who are still in the sucker consumer mindset telling you that they don't want to deprive themselves of the happiness afforded of buying things for themselves, even while they struggle with debt or unpleasant work, tell them to look into the science behind what they are saying. They're actually like a dangerously unfit person saying they don't want to deprive themselves of the pleasure of sitting on the couch all day and going out for a walk instead. Science has proven that they are both wrong. The sooner you can accept this convenient fact, the sooner you can become rich and happy. All right, guys, another article that I love by Mr. Money Mustache, and this particularly is a good one for me to reread at this point in my life, because if you've been watching my channel for a little while, you know that my husband and I are searching for some land where we can build a home for ourselves. And guys, as I was sitting here reading that article, I was reminded of that meme that I've seen before on Facebook. I don't know where it came from or originated from, but maybe you've seen it too. The one that says, remember when everything that you have in your life right now was what your dream was everything that you could have wanted? And I was reminded of that meme because I remember when I bought this house as a single person in 2014, I thought that this home was everything I could ever want in a home, and how lucky am I that I was able to buy it for $105,000. And yeah, reading this article was just a good reminder of that. You know, at one point, this home was everything that I could have wanted in a house. But it's not really the home that has changed. I just want to point that out. It's the community around this area, and that's sort of out of my circle of control. North Carolina is just growing so much, and the road that we live on is very busy. It has gotten a lot more traffic over the recent years. They've added rumble strips to the side of the road and the center of the road, and there's a logging company right down from us, so we constantly get these really loud, blaring Jake brakes of these log trucks that go down the hill at our house all the time, every day. And as a third shift worker, y'all, it affects my sleep during the day. I'll just throw that out there. But that has steadily gotten worse over the years, and that's one thing that I can't change about this house, unfortunately. But that being said, I do keep this hedonic adaptation treadmill in my mind as my husband and I are looking for more land and more space to build a new home. We really do want to try to stick to a budget. Y'all know we've struggled finding land that we like, but especially when it comes to the home building portion of us moving, we really do want to stay in a budget. We don't want a huge McMansion type home. We plan on keeping things small, energy efficient, but functional for us. We don't need any more space than what we need. And the other thing I was thinking of as I was reading this article is a Tesla. Yeah, I've always wanted a Tesla, and I've bought new cars before, and as much as I would love to have a Tesla and never have to buy gas again, is it really worth it for me? Probably not. No. I mean, my car runs just fine right now, and I will continue to drive that thing as long as it's running well. And even when it does give out, a Tesla, well, maybe, but probably not, because even though you can get a new Tesla for $35,000, $40,000, still, I could get a functional car for me for much less than that. And that's something that I need to remember, although I know that the day will come when my car finally bites the dust and I'll probably be tempted to get a Tesla. So y'all remind me to come back to take a look at this episode of the Quintuple M when that day happens. So yeah, let me know down below if there's some things in your life that this article made you think about. What's something that you have to remind yourself not to get sucked into that hedonic adaptation treadmill? Let me know down below. I'll see y'all next week for the next episode of the Quintuple M. Thanks for watching. Bye.